What's going on, guys? Have another assembly video for you. My good friend sent this kit to me. Man, I have the best friends. Seriously. So, what we're going to do today is put together this Wilkins grip. No editing. I'm on the better HD camera that I own. We're just going to try to run through this, show you how it goes on. It's been a few years since I've put a few of these together. I used to have the large G10, and I was one of the first ones in the States to have the mini grip. I had talked with More Cutlery many years ago, and he got in the first shipment from Kevin Wilkins. So you can see what I'm showing you is the black hardware option. So I'm going to put this black hardware in it. I think it's going to go better. I'm not going to anodize it, do anything to it. My friend told me, build it, okay? Build it, test drive it, and then do whatever. And then do whatever. So, awesome. I appreciate it. He knows who he is. So what is the donor knife today? It's going to be this Griptilian with the spider hole in it. Hollow ground blade. Okay. And it's out of 154 cm. A Ritter is a great option to go to, but this is going to make a great EDC. I feel like I'm not lacking anything. You know, the Ritter grips come in all kinds of crazy steels now. M390, I believe. They used to be standard in S30V. I don't know if M390 is the standard one now. So here's a quick little preview of what we're looking like. Now I think I'm going to like this a lot too, because I love the hole and I love a good hollow grind. And Benchmade does 154 cm fairly hard, so it's not going to be far off from performance in my experience for S30V. As far as holding a working edge, something that's very usable, it's going to be a great option. Let's get a look at the grip. We're going to do this the easy way. I'm not going to do a full breakdown. You can see right there, yep, centering's not that great on this very factory, very brand new grip. I don't even think my friend cut one thing with this knife. I know he didn't mess with any of this. Brand new from Kevin Wilkins. So let's get on this. This is titanium donor kit for this. We're going to put the black hardware on there. I think I have everything out here, and I'd really like to do it in under 20 minutes. So let's see if we can do it. We're going to do it the easy way, being we're not going to take apart these liners in here. We'll show you that when we get there. So my first thing will be to take off the clip with a T6. We're going to reuse that clip. Not a lot of this knife gets used. The hardware is going to be replaced. All the plastic that you see, you know, that's one of the big complaints. This knife, you know, is a very, I don't know, very friendly entry-level knife. Can we say that? You know, maybe you're giving a knife away as a gift or something like that. It's a nice knife. It really is. But once you become a knife nut and you know about titanium frame locks and titanium in general, and even G10, this plastic just kind of lacks coolness. Let's just say that. But, you know, some of my favorite knives do have FRN. I've already made videos on that. It's a practical, very practical handle material, but it just lacks cool. That's a T6 as well. I'm going to take out these sides. Now this is holding in that liner. You see that liner right there? It's nested in there. So we're going to set these to the side. I do believe we reused these screws, and that's why I want to use this black too, because these are black. You will see when it goes together. See, that screw goes into the liner here, so Kevin Wilkins does not have you replace that screw. Any screw that is going into his titanium, he gives you, even the pocket clip screws. So, alrighty, let's get this thing apart. believe that is a T10 for the pivot. Let's loosen up this pivot. Now here's a little trick that I do. You can loosen that up a little bit, or a lot of it, and then just push it through the back, and then take that out, and take this. We're gonna have to be very careful, and I'll show you why. I'm not gonna pop that out just yet. There's a little trick we can do there. So this top is ready to come off. It should be. Nope. sorry. I forgot this is a grip. So all these screws are screwed into each other back here, and then there's like a nut set in this plastic. So these will be going away. And I'll show you the construction of that Wilkins, how he does it. It's an open space handle, blow through construction with a real cool aluminum backspacer. Aluminum keeps it lighter weight. Not as fun to customize for me personally because I can't anodize aluminum yet, but I understand why he does it. And he sells these inflamed and anodized and stonewashed and polished and in G10 and in micarta, I believe. So let's take the top off. So you can see that liner, the nested liner in there. And that's why grip scales are a nightmare to make. They're just a nightmare. Everything has to be right on. If you don't have a CNC set up for it, oh man, good luck. I don't think I've ever done a grip, although I know they can be done like on a drill press at your house, manual milling it around, and you're not going to get great fit finish like you're going to need. Before I go popping this out and getting in all kinds of trouble, let's just keep this like this. Let's disassemble this. Is this a T10 or a T9? No, that's a 9. We'll get our 9 here. And before that, let's take out the clip screws. Let me know if you guys like these assembly videos. I'm thinking about doing a few more of them. Maybe doing some tuning tricks and tips. Maybe how to smooth a knife out. Maybe how to center a knife up. There are a couple tricks that you guys can do, including to your slip joints, that I've just learned over the years that I'd be more than happy to pass on. Some of it is kind of common knowledge, and some of it might be stuff that I've just kind of stumbled across over the years. So we got those out. Let's get these screws out as well, just to complicate things a little more. Not really. I know what we're doing here. And these are the liner screws that we're going to reuse, so let's put that there. And that should be all the screws we're going to need to assemble this. And we're going to take these screws and put them in that pile, and that way we will do the black hardware instead of this polished. Real cool. Again, this was sent to me, so I don't know if all this stuff comes in your handle conversions. Extra, clip, extra screws, not clips. And that patch. I know when I went on his website, it looks like that patch is extra, so possibly they just ordered that as well. That's cool. Look how he mills in for this backspacer here. So you can get a real thick backspacer. Just a cool look. And then it sticks out for a lanyard hole. So here's the conversion. The best way that I know how to do this quickly, let's save that, that's our pivot screw, will be to plop this whole unit, because this had perfect action in it. It was brand new, and hopefully disassembling it and putting it in this will center that knife up. If not, I might show you some tricks today. We'll see. So being that this is all under tension here, let's drive that up so I can show you exactly how the axis lock works. There is this spring on both sides, and that's what pushes that bar forward. Okay? So we're going to leave all this assembled. You can see the stop pin is nested inside those liners there. You can see this does have a D hole on the pivot, so this can be smooth on the back side, right? And you can play with this knife and it shouldn't loosen tension on the pivot because that pivot is locked down with that flat side on the pivot. So that's kind of the knock I give some of those knives. What's the 450 did not have this. I think most knives need that nowadays. Alright, so my trick here for these grips, because they're a nightmare, if this pin slides out, this pressure and everything, the blade will get all off. So we're going to push this through like this. I'm pushing that pin out with my T10 here. And now that's going to hold that steady there. We do have the pivot out because that has the lip holding down that FRN or whatever they call that. Nilex, Gorlex, whatever they, I forget what every manufacturer calls it something different. Cold Steel calls it something. Spyderco calls it something. So now I've got that in here holding the washer, assembly and all that. Correct? Now we'll do the back side here. And now let me just explain something here while we have it open. You can see how he does not have the D hole cut on his scales, but it doesn't matter because the liners have the D hole. Do you see it? The D flat part? So that pivot is still not going to spin in there. So I didn't want people thinking that if you go to these, you know, you're going to a cheaper solution. Obviously you're not. I think these are around $150, $170 by the time they get shipped to you, maybe more. And I'm also saying he has super cool like inlaid titanium ones now. And of course you can bring that cost down by going to aluminum, going to G10, something like that. What I'm doing is I'm trying to line up that D part. Taking a look here, it looks like it was, oh, it was facing down. Okay, so let's line this up down. See how it's down, flat spots down. And we're gonna try to set that in there and see if we can get all this to line up right. This is gonna be tricky. Look how nice all the machining is, I can already tell you. Look how beautifully that liner set in there. Again, we're putting this together live here. I just want you to see there's no space around there. He does a incredibly high tolerance job here. Now, this is going to be the trick to do this quickly. We have to line all this stuff up and push that pivot through, and keep in mind we're going through washers and all that. Man, I hope this really works. Well, there's the pivot dropped out. Let's go to the circle like this. So everything should be circle. And then run this up. Nope, 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 nope. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, lost it. See what just happened? Should have had my alright, there's the washer coming out. I'll push that down. Alright, we're back. Have no fear. Getting these pivots in can be the hardest part of the whole conversion. Alright, we're going to have to go old school. And I didn't want to do it this way. Take the blade out. Take that out. There is still some tricks I can show you guys here. So here's the assembly. Here's where we're at. I didn't want to do it this way, but it looks like we're being forced. So let's feed this up through the D. Okay. We're going to put a washer on there. We're going to keep that Benchmade lubricant on there. I don't know what they use. Probably that blue lube. You can tell this knife was brand new. Not a speck of dust. Not even broke in. So I slid the washer in. Now do you see how I got the washer in there? Now we're going to pull that back, the pivot. We are going to make sure there's no dirt and grime on that tang. We're good. And we're going to slide this in here, pulling that pivot back a little bit. And then we're going to have to release tension on this axis lock. Line that up. That can go through there. Now get your washer ready. Pull it back again. This is just a pain. Now I'm sliding it in there. Now we got to push that back a little bit while keeping tension on this axis lock because it's going to try to blow it all out. I'm going to pull that pivot back just a little bit. I wish I had 3 or 4 hands right now. Push that pivot down just a tad. You don't want to go too far. Just enough to slide that washer up where it can slide past there. You'll see. Okay, so that can slide up past there. Take something, line that up there, and then push that pivot through. Now we're assembled. See, not too bad, but would have been better just to drop the whole pivot in there. Alright, the rest is gravy. We're already home. You can take these down. When I acid wash Benchmade grips and I do all the liners and stuff, but you also got to keep all this nice and polished and acid wash this bar. Man, it is a nightmare, let me tell you. So I'm going to put the top of the sandwich on. What is going on? Feels funky. Oh boy. What's going on? Okay, that feels okay. Alright, we'll just go with that. I'm going to slide this back spacer in, although really I shouldn't do that yet. Let me just set these pins down to let that line up. We're not going to tighten them yet. So we are switching out. You've got these screws and you've also got the clip screws. See how they're different? It's like a barrel head. And this is like a tapered head. Let's just register that up on there. Let's get the factory Benchmade screws. Not snug, but starting to bite on a few threads. That's going to lock that in a little bit better. Oh, my pin just fell out of the back. Should have done the same thing there. Alright, you can see I didn't tighten that down with tension at all. What I was talking about, that screw fell out. Okay, let's take, I believe that was a T9, right? Yeah. Let's just bite a few threads on that, bite a few threads on this. Put the pivot down with a T10, and personally I would like to just drop a few little drops of Loctite on the front of that, but being a D-hole, it'll be okay. Now, I don't know why I like to tighten knives when they're closed, and I like to go pivot first. Check out that centering. So pivot first, I have these are not tightened at all. That's not tightened, so everything can still move at this point, and hopefully when I tighten up that pivot, if the blade has been surface ground, right, it should all be flat. So when you tighten up the pivot, that blade should come center inside the scales, right? But if you already have your scales locked down in the back and they're already crooked, when you tighten up that pivot, it pulls it to one side. Now, not always, but sometimes that can happen. So I like to tighten up the pivot fairly snug first and then tighten the rest of the knife down. Again, that would be in one of my little tips and tricks video. But you don't want to get full tension on that front. You just kind of want to snug it up. See, we're looking a lot better, aren't we? A lot better. And we're still not fully, yes we are fully tight on that. Yeah, that's going to need some Loctite. Yeah, certainly it will. But let's tighten down the rest of the knife. You're not going to get good action when you hadn't even tightened up the other screws yet. Let's go back to, that's a T10. Let's go back to our T9. And again, I like to tighten up the rear screw just till it feels tension on it. And when this feels tension on it, we're not going crazy right now. We're going to switch back to that T6 and tighten up these factory Benchmade screws again so they just start to get tension on them. You can see that blade is a lot better now, still pulling to that one side. Got some pretty good action going here, and our screws aren't even tight yet. Oh man, that is a cool knife. It is a little bit thicker than the grip. A little bit flatter. I feel like it has a lot better feel to it. It does make it a lot more handle heavy. But you know, sometimes that makes the front of the blade feel a little more lively. We can go over that in another video. Let's tighten up the rest of the knife. Let's put the clip on it and get out of here. So where I want to go is I want to start with the back screw first. A little tight, go back to this. A little bit tight and a little bit tight. You don't need to gorilla grip this sucker down and strip your screws, because they are threaded into the titanium. You know, just what it is. Here's the 6. Let's tighten these screws down the rest of the way. You see I flip them back and forth and check them twice. Sometimes you tighten this down, then all of a sudden this can get tightened down a little more, and then that will get tightened down a little more. So you just kind of got to check. And our blade, it's a lot better, but I could probably still adjust that out a little bit. We'll save that for another video. Very nice. I am going to put some Loctite on there. You can see we put the black screws in there. Somehow where he's ground these flush, they still come out. He didn't coat those. Looks like they were ground after his coating, which is fine, whatever. It kind of matches this bar here. This knife feels ultra high-end now. Now anodize this, do some nuking, some double nuking, some stone washing, something like that. You know, you can also switch this out to a Ritter, as we already talked about. Ritters just have a little bit different of a blade profile. They're a little bit higher grind, a little bit, I wouldn't say thinner, they're just different. It's more of a flat ground blade. If you remember last time, I like to put my screws in there first so I can feed them in here. And you can carry this for left-hand carry as well as right-hand. And let's see. Oh, this was this. This is a Sebenza Allen key. Now just a little bit tight. Again, wrapping up this project, guys, let me know how you like these videos. They're just long, especially taking you through something like this, doing the full conversion, and then I thought we could get that whole nested unit over there without having to redo that pivot. But I guess it wasn't bad to show you how to deal with something like that, because you can put regular knives together like that too. I'm talking lockbacks, other axis lock knives. I'm going to try to position this to the center of the scale, and then I will tighten it down. See, I went outside, center, and then I went back to the outside and over to this side, and then back up to the center. And that's good. That's our conversion. I will tie a lanyard on this, carry it around for a couple weeks, probably have to sharpen it, beat it up, and let you guys know on a review what I really think about these Wilkins titanium grips. Obviously the performance is going to be outstanding, I have no doubt in that, but it does add a little bit of weight to the knife. but so much more coolness, like sturdiness to it, you know, where you can feel these flexing, and it just feels cheap and hollow when you knock on your griptilian. Knock on your griptilian, you feel it, you know what I'm talking about. But you really love the knife, you love all the blade options that you can have. Cool thing with this knife, for another $80, $90, you could buy another one, and you could have the Tanto, you could have another blade, and they would all drop right into this handle set, you know, so it's kind of cool. I think he sells a lot of these and has sold a lot over the years. I've been looking at getting a set of Wilkins for the grip, not the grip, the Delica. He also makes the kit for the Delica. If I do, you can betcha I will do it on camera for you guys. I really love this knife. That's why I would spend, you know, the other $150 or whatever. Maybe I'll get G10. I don't know. We'll see. When I carry this one, see what I think about the weight. But I would like to get this converted over. This is an awesome knife, though. Flat ground ZDP blade steel from Spyderco with Spyderco hole opener, lock back. Anyways, video not about this knife, but I just wanted to make you aware. If you like this idea, you can certainly do it with your Delica too. And if you don't really like the weight, you can always go with the G10 version. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. That is the Kevin Wilkins titanium conversion in under 30 minutes. Yay, we did it. I know, long videos. What are you going to do about it? No editing on the good camera. My computer wouldn't push these files through. It'd take forever to render. Take a look at fit and finish, because I'm not going to do a real review. But I will tell you how it goes as far as carrying and using. Fit and finish is dead on. You can even see when it's closed. All those liners line up in there. Like just perfect. All his holes, everything. Even the hole has been chamfered for his axis lock. The axis lock is still very reachable and usable. The knife functions exactly the same, because it's still using Benchmade's liner system in there. Even the screw that screws to the Benchmade liner, Kevin Wilkins keeps that hardware. And then again, the ones that he's going to his own titanium and all that, he supplies down to the clip screws, which you should for that price. You know, these are not cheap. Again, about $170 or so plus the shipping to get here, just for the scales. And then you got your knife. You see how he's got a little cutout for your thumb. That's it, guys. Enjoy the day. Let me know how you like this video. Again, I've got a lot more videos for you. See ya.